Welcome to the Dusty Trails of the Old West. This podcast is the first in a series of stories about famous gunfighters of the Old West. The stories are taken from the book Gunfighters of the Old West by G.C. Stevens, which was adapted from a book by Leah F. McCarty called The Gunfighters. The new version is richly illustrated by artist Kelly Hines of Fort Dodge, Iowa. His stylistic drawings were done using white chalk on black paper, which creatively emphasized the noir feel of westerns from the early days of filmmaking. Each story is a vignette of a famous figure from the Old West. I hope that you enjoy these stories. Foreword by G.C. Stevens. The Wild West was a land of boundless horizons and rugged terrain. Nothing has quite captured the imagination like the Wild West chapter of American history. This legendary period started on the frontier in the late 19th century and spanned the years up to the Victorian period, or the Gilded Age, a time which Mark Twain referred to as the Great Barbecue. The vast expanse west of the Mississippi lead into the Great Plains. The country pulsed with the raw energy of a nation in flux. The days of the West was a time of gunslingers, lawmen, cattle drives, and gold rushes. A time where Native American Indian tribes fought to preserve their way of life against the relentless tide of settlers, outlaws, and pioneers. From the Arizona and New Mexico sun-scorched deserts to the windswept plains of Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, Montana, and many other places, the American West was a crucible of courage, conflict, and railroads. The Wild West is full of colorful historic characters, such as Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday, Buffalo Bill, Curly Bill Brocious, Johnny Ringo, and many more. This book invites you to saddle up and ride into that storied era, exploring the myths of some of the gunslingers of the West, and the moments that forged the legend of the Wild West legacy, a legacy that still echoes in the American spirit today. Chapter 1. Buffalo Bill Cody. Buffalo Bill Cody, the creator of Western mythology and legend. Buffalo Bill Cody's life was very colorful. He was a message delivery boy for the parent company of the Pony Express, a jayhawker, Union soldier, hotel owner, buffalo hunter, and Army Scout. His time on the frontier was legendary, and he became a fictional hero in a series of dime novels written by Ned Buntline, who convinced Cody and his friend and fellow scout John Texas Jack Omohundro to join him on a stage tour called The Scouts of the Prairie. From the moment he rose to prominence in 1869 until his death nearly 50 years later, Bill Cody was the embodiment of the American West. In a melodrama or a blood and thunder production, his initial play with Texas Jack was the very first Western, and the model for the many plays, movies, and shows that would follow. Cody and Omohundro parted ways with Ned Buntline and added to their dramatic company their mutual friend and famed gunslinger James Wild Bill Hickok. Though his refusal to take his dramatic career as seriously as his friends did led to his early departure from the stage before the end of a full season. Cody and Omohundro spent the next several years touring together and spending winter months hunting together. In the summer before General Custer's defeat at the Little Bighorn, both men went to Montana to once again serve as scouts under the auspices of the United States Army. They parted ways after their tour of 1876, but remained friends until Texas Jack's death in Leadville, Colorado in 1880. Eventually, Cody, being the consummate showman, began what he came to call his Wild West and Congress of Rough Riders of the World. Touring the nation by railroad, Cody brought the West to all of America. Cody etched his version of the American frontier indelibly into the minds of Americans in the more than 1,400 cities where the show visited. Traveling to Europe, Cody became the first American superstar and perhaps the most well-known man in the world by the end of his life. Throughout this time, he extolled and showed the world the virtues of the cowboy, first popularized by his old friend Texas Jack, and now acted out on the world stage by the cast of entertainers in Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. In late 1916, Cody traveled to Glenwood Springs, Colorado to recuperate from a bronchial infection. Realizing that his health was not improving, Cody boarded a train to Denver to return to his family. On the return ride home, he made a stop at the Leadville station on January 6, 1917. As the train pulled in, he told his daughter and his nurse about his old friend, Texas Jack, buried across town. 37 years after his best friend's death, Buffalo Bill Cody still teared up talking about Texas Jack. Not well enough to leave the train due to his declining health, Cody was unable to walk across town to Evergreen Cemetery and the grave he had generously erected for his friend. As the train pulled out of the station, Cody waved goodbye for the last time to the people of Leadville and to his old pard Texas Jack. 4 days later, Buffalo Bill was dead. I hope you enjoyed this first episode of Gunfighters of the Old West. We'll see you on the dusty trail.